NerdWerkz presents Trevor Keller,
Dave, we've all been killed by a snow wolf in World of Warcraft.
Dave Thomas,
If you make my thing, I love ham, I'm gonna kill you.
Greg Burke,
So we're all gonna mine the same meteor? Sounds like a blast.
The Next Level, Episode 3, Link to the Past.
Welcome everybody to another episode of The Next Level. With me, as always, are my gaming enthusiast friends, Trevor Keller
Hello?
and Dave Thomas.
We are not friends, sir.
You are not my friend. You're a nice guy. You're a nice guy.
I just agreed to do this podcast, okay? Let's not over exaggerate this relationship.
Right. So today there'll be no news today, unfortunately. But we're gonna reminisce instead. We're gonna talk about the franchises or gaming, the popular games that we skipped over for some reason. I mean, when games came out in the 90s, we were in school and we didn't have them. Games were $50. We didn't have enough to buy all of them. So obviously we would have to choose certain franchises over others because we couldn't get all of them. And I'm sure a lot of you viewers out there felt the same way. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So Trev, we'll start with you. What are some of these gaming franchises that you skipped over? And did you do it intentionally? Did you do it on accident? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I missed a lot actually. I just skipped over completely over all of the Final Fantasy games. I only played 10 and that was garbage, so skipped all of those. What else have I skipped? Basically any sport game ever, any fighting game ever.
Well, sports games don't count. Really,
Yeah.
No. Did you wait? So when you were in high school, because did you own a PlayStation or just a Nintendo, or what did you have?
The only PlayStation I owned was the PS2, and that's the console I played Final Fantasy 10 on.
So did you completely skip over the PlayStation as well, or did you go from Super Nintendo to PlayStation 2?
Yeah, I was a Nintendo kid growing up. I had the original NES, then the Super Nintendo, then the Nintendo 64, all the Game Boys. I was a big Nintendo fanboy growing up. Mm-hmm. But then I grew up, and Nintendo didn't. So I got the PS2, and shortly after I got the Xbox, and I just gravitated more towards action-adventure type games.
Yeah, because they're fun.
Yeah, the first-person shooters. Just I wanted fast-paced action, and I wasn't really into the long, drawn-out stories. I played the KOTORs and I just recently played the Mass Effects, but I don't know. I like my games fast-paced. So I skipped a lot of those Final Fantasies and the Resident Evils. Yeah. I just didn't really find an interest in those.
Yeah, I mean, you were a fan of action and first person before it was a popular thing to do a first person shooter, because now everyone does it, but back in the days of
when
RPGs
and action, when it was Metal Gear Solid, right?
Yeah, right. There weren't a lot of first person shooters, because I remember I was on the PlayStation store looking at Medal of Honor, for the PlayStation 1. God, then the graphics look like trash, and the gameplay just looks like trash.
I grew up playing the original Delta Force games on the PC back in mid 90s, early 90s.
Nice and old school, right?
Yeah. Oh god, those games are just
back when a sniper didn't just have to aim his reticle at you; he actually had to adjust for distance and your motion and everything.
Yeah, those Delta Force games accounted for distance and I think even
speed.
Yeah, it was
very cool.
It was fun.
So you skipped out basically, so fighting genre and then RPGs basically you kind of skipped over.
Well, no, I was always really into RPGs. It was just the I'm a huge fan of the Elder Scrolls. That kind of goes against my fast-paced action because but I like the world of the Elder Scroll games.
Now, when you say Elder Scroll, do you mean PC Elder Scroll, old school pixel graphics, or do you mean Oblivion, when the Oblivion games started coming out, or the Elder Scrolls series game 3D and became really nicer.
No, I mean, I've always been a fan of RPGs just in general. Like even the old school Might and Magic games for the PC, like Might and Magic 7 was.
Yeah.
That's like my all-time favorite PC RPG.
Which, by the way, I found again. I have it in my house now.
Yeah, I still have it.
I'm gonna have to reload that, see if I can't play it.
Your computer's too awesome
like
for it now.
I know.
Yeah, really.
If you could go back,
Yeah,
if you could go back and like go and touch a franchise or that you skipped over, which one would it be?
Probably I would probably want to go back and play some of the Final Fantasies because I just keep hearing how amazing like Final Fantasy VII was, and I have no idea what they're talking about when I hear Final Fantasy VII.
That was a staple, and as a Final Fantasy player, I need to say all you need to do is play that one, and you're pretty much you break your Final Fantasy cherry because that one is my personal favorite.
That's what I hear. Yeah, so I probably would just go back and kind of run through some of the Final Fantasies.
Sweet, Dave. What are some of the genres you missed going back?
Well, probably honestly Final Fantasy for me too.
You too?
I've always been a I've always been a big fan of the role playing games and stuff, but I don't know, I could never get into it. There was always something off about it for me. Maybe it was the way that I can't remember which was the first one that I played, but I remember the character looked like a cartoon version of himself when I was walking him around, and it bugged me so bad that I like, and of course I was a kid, so I'd never seen anime or anything, and I didn't understand like why they would like have you look like a person, and then in one scene, and then the next scene make them look all cheapy and cute and everything. And
do you know which one in particular you're talking about? Like, is that
I don't. Like I said, it was so long ago, but I remember it was PlayStation.
Okay.
It was PlayStation. It had Barrett, the guy with the gun hand.
So that's 7. That's 7.
Was it 7?
Yep.
If 7 is the culmination of all the great Final Fantasies, if that's the one that really gets you into Final Fantasy, it's clearly not for me because I played it and just like could not get into it. And same thing with the Resident Evils too. Up until was it 4 that came out for the GameCube?
4 was GameCube exclusive.
Yeah. That was, oh man, I dove head first into that one.
Did you like that?
Oh god, I loved it because I was a first person shooter kid.
Yeah, but those games are okay. You cannot move.
I know.
And shoot.
That's love it.
Dumbest.
It's so
effing
hard.
idea.
It's
ever
so
created.
hard. It's great,
especially in a zombie game,
dude.
You want to move and shoot. That's ridiculous.
That's the reason that they do that, because it builds that anticipation. If you're booking it, if you're running, then you have to stop, and you have to turn and headshot zombies as they come towards you. That builds anticipation, man. That makes you really give a crap about your character. You start freaking out because you feel surrounded. You start. I really felt enveloped by that game.
Yeah, it's a whole different genre. That's a survival horror genre. Like, it's just a whole.
It just felt so unrealistic. No one in their right mind would just stop.
Oh, you mean the fact that he was fighting zombies, or the fact that it was a video game, or the fact that he had an unlimited rocket launcher eventually.
There's always one. There's always one Trevor in the room.
Not the point. That's besides the point. Okay.
But I couldn't get into the Resident Evils until 4, because I didn't like the ability to not look around my environment. Ever since, what was it, Doom? I think was or was it Wolf Castle?
Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein. Yes, that was the first shooter, I think, and then they came up with Doom after that, if I remember correctly. But it was those games that really made me an FPS guy. After that, I stopped playing my Mario World games. I stopped playing all the Mortal Kombat fighters and everything that I was so into, and it was all about shooting people and moving 360 degrees. At that point, that changed the gaming world for Dave.
So you weren't a fan of the fixed camera angles then? You just hated them?
In Resident Evil? Oh god, yes. Because and it happened in...
But it builds the anticipation.
No, it makes me feel like I can't find my way out. I got stuck in a room I remember playing at my friend Steve's house, and we were sitting there, and we were stuck in this room where some dogs had attacked us, and we killed the dogs and could not find the way out. We went back the way we came, and literally circled the entire damn room, and we must have just barely missed it, just perfectly missed it. And we were walking around for like a half an hour before we decided to go and play outside like that. It was ridiculous.
I don't know. Sounds like use your air to me.
Yeah, you know what? It very well could have been. It very well could have been. But that doesn't negate the fact that it turned me off to Resident Evil until Res 4, where you could turn 360 degrees and explore your environment a little bit better.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, yeah, I've never been a big fighter, just because it's all juggle mechanics, and I never ever play any game enough to become that familiar with it, to know exactly when to hit the right button to keep your opponent in air until literally his hit bar goes to 0.
Now, like, Dave, if you could go back in time and like play a franchise again, like just say in the 90s, before it was a franchise, what game would you get into?
Oh God,
that's a good question, right? It's a really good question. Oops, can't say yes. Online.
Yeah, watch. Yeah, dude, you're the host. You know the rules better than we do.
I have to edit it out now.
Hey,
that
this
sucks.
is a family show.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a family yet, and neither do I. So
for
shut
the
up.
Kids.
I've got until July before my kid's born. I don't have to be a family man yet. God, I have no clue. Like, I really would not want to go and replay any of the Final Fantasies.
You don't look at the store and be like, oh, well, like then you see like a number 6, something with like a 6 at the end, and be like, oh wow, I wonder what the older ones were like. You don't like think about that at all?
Nope. I assume that they are on the same level as the newer ones, so I don't worry about it.
Nope, they're dead to me. They're all dead to me.
I know that's awfully horribly close-minded, but that's just the way it is. I've been there's a bad taste in my mouth for all things Final Fantasy, and in response to that, the same thing with the Disney Final Fantasy. What is it called? Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, same difference.
See, one thing about Final Fantasy, each game is completely different from the last. They don't have anything to do with each other. They're all like their own separate stories, and I don't know. I kind of like my games, my sequels, to kind of
interact with characters that you love.
Continue the story. Yeah, I want to continue the story of a character and see that character grow.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Zelda's the same way. None of the Zeldas add up.
Really?
Yeah, they're all different.
Yeah, but see, you're still playing the same character, though.
That's it. I would go back and replay Zelda because I only got to play. I missed a good portion of Zelda, and I talked to like Trev and you and you guys speak with such nostalgia, and I missed it. Zelda was not.
What was the first Zelda you played?
I think it was for my Game Boy.
Oh, that one's kick-ass. Link to the Past is awesome. That's a good one.
It was very...
Link to the Past was Super Nintendo.
It was? What was the one I'm thinking of? Oh, Link's Awakening. Is that the one?
There's tons on Game Boy.
No, but the first one Dave was playing.
Honestly, I haven't picked up a Game Boy in like a decade and a half, so I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's Link's Awakening. It's Link's Awakening. It had to have been.
It could have.
Yeah, that was one of the really early ones.
It was a very early one, but it was such a good series. I by the time I caught up with it had passed. No one was playing Super Nintendo anymore. We'd all moved on to our N64s and stuff. But I think the Zelda franchise would be one that I'd like to play from beginning to end.
God. My all-time favorite Zelda game is Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo.
Well, but
a lot of people say like Ocarina of Time. That's a very close second. But yeah. I have to give it to Link to the Past. That game was just amazing.
See, I actually...
But yeah, that's one I never formed any nostalgia for. I just never played it.
Yeah, I'm with Dave on that one. I skipped over that one too because I never had a Super Nintendo. So, but I did play all the originals. I did play all the other Nintendo ones and the N64 ones. I just skipped over the there was only one a Super Nintendo one, right, Trev? Link to the Past was the only Zelda they made.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo. Okay, yeah. So I didn't miss that much.
There was there was two, I think, for the NES, the original, and then oh gosh, awkward.
And Gamer Fail.
No, it was all about Link.
Yeah, The Adventures of Link was the second one that was really weird.
Yeah, that's right. Adventures of Link. Yeah, it was like a weird, like top-down, like kind of like the first Final Fantasy. You're really zoomed out in the world, and you just see like this little Link walking around, and then it would zoom into a side-scrolling
RPG
little
essentially.
world.
Yeah.
It was really strange, and it just didn't really fit that. It didn't fit that model that the first game established.
It didn't fit with the way the story should have gone.
That's not necessarily like the story, just like the gameplay, because you would be.
Oh, really?
Like I said, like you would be traveling around the world from a very zoomed up, top-down view, and then all of a sudden you would enter into like a dungeon, let's say, and then it would go enter the dungeon, and then you'd be on a side-scrolling.
Yeah, and,
weird.
And let me tell the viewers
It was
this,
very
because
strange.
a lot of people, I'm sure they're younger who listen to this, like, there was no internet back in the early 90s. Like, there was, like, barely an internet.
What?
So, like, if you got stuck...
How did they live?
So if you got stuck in a game, and, like, you had two choices. You either bought the guide, which you'd go to your store and buy it, or you'd have to, like, find a friend who'd already did it. Like, that was the one way you'd get... Because I remember games used to be a lot harder back then.
Well, no, you would call. You have to call the company.
Oh, yeah.
Their support line, and actually the guy would have, like, a massive book filled with all of the little secrets of the game, and he would walk you through it. I
remember that.
I had to do that a few times.
Jesus.
And wasn't there some sort of ridiculous charge that we never told our parents about?
I don't know.
I was pretty sure it was a toll line.
Honey, who called the 900 Nintendo number? I don't know.
I don't know. What about you, Greg? You're probing us for information. What genres did you miss out on?
Oh god, I skipped over probably every Tom Clancy game ever created. Because there was a certain...
shame. Wait, so that means you're not a man?
No,
okay, cool.
For some reason, I just remember going to the store. This is right when Xbox came out, and all this is when America finally started getting into gaming. Because I remember in the '90s, the Japanese just dominated the video game scene with PlayStation. It was PlayStation and N64, and that was it. There was no other third console. I mean, all the American consoles had fared miserably. And
wait, wasn't there the Dreamcast?
That was Sega,
Sega.
Yeah, but that's still Japanese. All these Japanese developers were just ruling the gaming market, and then and then when the Xbox came out, because we had the PC market, but they were pretty, straightforward games, like you said, the Elder Scrolls and stuff, like the older PC games. We had the PC market pretty much good, but the console market, America had tapped into it until the Xbox came. And then all I remember is just you guys are going, oh my god, I have to get the new Tom Clancy Splinter Cell. And it just seemed that Tom Clancy would crap out these games every 6 months. There'd be a new Tom Clancy game. And it would have this Splinter Cell. It was they had Splinter Cell 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Conviction, and then two other ones. I was like, my god, there's so many Splinter Cell games, and I just never got into that.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah, I just never got into that combat.
Lovely.
While you guys were playing those, I was playing Resident Evil and playing
Kingdom Hearts. Which was
Kingdom
meant for
Hearts
kids.
and all that stuff. I skipped over the Tom Clancy genre. I have no idea why. And because I skipped over the Xbox too, because I didn't have internet, so there was no point for me getting an Xbox. That was the whole big selling point of the internet. Was online gaming where you plugged it in, to your 56K modem and could play online.
Actually, I would like to make a point. I remember when the Xbox originally was not an online gaming console.
Was it? Wasn't it one of its selling points?
Xbox Live? No, Xbox Live was invented well after the fact. In fact, the first Xbox game I remember playing online was the first Splinter Cell. Or no, sorry, the second Splinter Cell. We found out, oh my gosh, it has online capability. And we just at first it was linked play. You could just link up with another person's Xbox in a direct connect and play against each other.
Which you guys did all the time. I remember you guys did that all the time.
Yeah, we used to, with Halo, the original Halo and everything.
Oh, yeah, LAN parties.
Yeah, we used to do big, huge LAN parties, and that was always fun. But then they invented Xbox Live, and that was the first game where I actually created my first Xbox Live account and everything. And I think I was in a junior in high school. Trev, does that sound familiar?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I just remember asking my mom if I could borrow her credit card to pay $50 for Xbox Live, and that was for the whole year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's still the same.
But,
I think they have upped it $10 now, but yeah, it's about the same price.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I just that was huge for me. That's when video gaming went from, hey, let's go over to Dave's garage and play Nintendo in the freaking heat, or I can sit and play with my buddy Trevor, who lives in another city, and my buddy Dan, who is in Germany, and because he's been shipped off or something, and we can all play together. That just completely blew up my online gaming, my gaming experience.
Yeah, that's
So yeah, sorry. Anyways, you were saying.
No, yeah, I skipped over the Tom Clancy games completely, and like I just never had an appeal to them for some reason. I don't know why. Probably because like I didn't have internet, and like for some reason Xbox had this huge, like I remember the controllers were like ridiculously huge. You know, granted it was their first like attempt at like making a console like an American. I'm gonna give them that, but they were like gigantic.
Well,
and
the launch controllers were huge. Yeah,
they were the size of your face. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, they quickly came out with a slimmed down version.
Well, yeah, because everyone was making
is now the model for the 360.
Yeah.
Right, and I skipped over that. What else did I skip on that? Like, I hate sports games. I don't play any sports games. I don't see a point with like they come up with one like every 11 months. It's like ridiculous.
Well, yeah, because we come out with a new year every 11 months, right?
Yeah,
right.
And I skipped over one of the. If I were to go back and replay a franchise that I completely missed out on, it would be the Silent Hill franchise.
Ooh,
because
yeah.
I remember getting into Resident Evil when I was younger, and like I loved that series, but like I didn't have like when Resident Evil came out shortly after, and don't quote me on this, I don't know when it came out. It was a long time ago. Silent Hill came out, and like I was like, oh, this kind of looks like Resident Evil, but it's not. It doesn't have zombies. So like when like it was a choice to get like Silent Hill or Resident Evil 2, I would always pick the Resident Evil, and they usually would come out within 6 months of each other, like the sequels and stuff. So I just kept buying Resident Evil games, kept skipping the Silent Hill games, and so I would go back and play those again. And it's kind of lucky that I can do that because the HD collection's coming out soon for Xbox and PS3. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and I think like 4. I'm not sure. It's like all of the Silent Hills redone in HD. Nice, so I will be. Nice. I would be nice because I will be able to actually go back and play them. That was one of the genres I missed, and I was pretty well rounded. A lot of I was alienated a lot. Didn't have a Super Nintendo. So, but I did get all the staples in. I got all the basics in. Don't worry, I got the Mario Kart and Super Mario World in, and the Zelda and stuff. Like I played those, so I got those out of the way. I just didn't own them. But yeah,
I completely skipped over Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider.
Oh, so did I.
Back in,
really? You guys didn't play any Tomb Raiders?
No, I hated the controls.
I didn't own a PlayStation, but yeah, Tomb Raider. I mean, there's tons of Tomb Raider games, and I never played one of them.
I played a couple of them on my computer, and one of them on the PlayStation. And there's like nothing beats my camera behind Lara Croft while she's swimming. There's just nothing that makes me happier.
God, I remember playing. I remember I tried that game out, and like I remember this was the very first one, and like I remember she handled horrendously, like
awfully. Yeah,
like it was like
so bad.
Like you turned, you would like pivot, and then like you'd have to. It was that weird. You don't see this anymore. Remember those weird delayed jump buttons you used to have in video games? You press it, and then they would like crouch, and then like let go, and they. God, remember those jump buttons? Oh, they were horrible.
Yes,
those jump commands were absolutely horrendous. And she was like, killing tigers. I'm like, why is she killing Bengal tigers? Like, it doesn't make it like.
because she's an environmental criminal. Okay,
right.
That's why.
Right.
She's killing endangered species.
She's an adventurer.
Adventurers kill tigers. It's what they do.
I'm like, Indiana Jones never killed a tiger. You know what I mean?
Hey, they might have. They just didn't make a film about it. Okay.
He burned some snakes alive once. I think that's about it.
He kills snakes. All right, those are like tigers.
Yeah, we never played any of the Tomb Raider games. Trevor, this you have in common. Dame, you played most of the Tomb Raider games?
I played. I don't remember how many there are, but I remember playing 2. I remember receiving 2 separate games on the PC, and the handling on the first one that I played, I think it must have been number 1, was really awkward, and then the second one, it was so much better for some reason. Maybe because she could do sideways cartwheels to get out of the way of stuff. I was
gonna say I've got a good one. Did you guys play Twisted Metal at all? That series?
Oh, that was so bad.
No, see again, I didn't have a PlayStation growing up, so
right, because like Trev, like you had a choice at one point to like go N64 or PlayStation, like most of 90% of America. When consoles came out, it was like one or the other.
Yeah, I was a hardcore Nintendo fan growing up.
So you were
I was a PlayStation.
Yeah, so I stuck with Nintendo 64. PlayStation kind of just swept by, and then PS2 came out, and I upgraded to that. Want a little more hardcore console.
Trev, you might know this. What was that Star Wars game for N64?
There's a lot of them.
There was
Shadows of the Empire.
No,
it had to have been that one. Dark Forces
for the 64.
I don't think it was Shadow. It might have been Shadows of the Empire. Yeah, for the 64. I just remember going to my buddy's house and flying around one of the snow speeders.
Yeah,
and
that's
blowing. Was that Shadows of the Empire?
That was Shadows of the
I mean,
Empire.
there was a lot of them. There was like Rogue Leader and
Yeah, but the one specifically he's talking about with the snow speed level on Hoth, that's Shadows of the Empire, where you go around and knock down the AT-ATs.
Yeah, and you can either sit and shoot. Like I didn't actually trip them. I would like just doing flybys and shooting the crap out of them. Like it made the game longer. So
that was
more
a very fun level.
Yeah, it was really, really cool, really well done. So that was like the one game where I was really bummed that I had a PlayStation instead of an N64. If I had an N64 and had that game, I would have been psyched. Oh, and Star Fox. I liked Star Fox.
Who doesn't like Star Fox?
Yeah, it was I didn't really play the Super Nintendo version of it.
Me neither.
But the Nintendo 64 version, I think that was an incredibly short game. That's like a 4-hour game.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, I remember beating it in just one sitting. It was extremely short.
I just remember flying around, and I thought it was a very cool flight sim, even though it was completely ridiculously inaccurate. Like no way close to a flight sim, but that was good for me because I suck at flight sims.
Well, no, it was very arcade, very
exactly.
arcade-like.
Pick up and play. You don't have to have any skill. It was nice.
Well, that was before. Like, I mean, a lot of games now, like as a staple, because it's a business practice, is like all games should be easy to pick up and difficult to master. Like that's the middle ground, If you make a game too hard, which is kind of a bummer, because now people make games like so anybody can beat them. I remember like certain games I just couldn't effing beat. I could not beat them unless a friend came over and helped me. Like they were so hard. Like I mean, like Ninja Gaiden or like or like some of the old Nintendo games, even some of the N64 ones. What was one of the games? Shadows of the Empire. I don't think I ever beat that because I just kept dying because it was super hard. So I would just play the Snow Hot level and then turn it off and start at Snow Hot level again.
That's right.
Because I remember I couldn't beat. I mean, I never beat Dark Forces either. Never beat that. God, those first-person shooters. You guys remember the graphics they had? They were like all pixelated. Like they were all like huge pixels. It was. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
It was. They were horrible.
I went and played Doom on a simulator recently. I just went online and
emulator.
What did I say? Simulator?
Simulator.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't be on this show. No, I was playing on an emulator, and oh my gosh, it was so awful. Like I could barely figure out what the hell I was shooting. They was so pixelized, but that was the height of technology at the time.
See, that's what blows my mind is that like fantastic. if that's what it was like back in the 90s, and like we're only like maybe 20 years after that. Like imagine what's going to be another 20 years from now.
Yep.
I can't wait till we plug our brain in, We're like, oh, let's get online, plug our brain in.
We go into the Matrix.
Exactly. Yeah.
What are like we've been talking a lot about the 90s franchises we've missed, but what are like some recent brand new franchises that we've kind of skipped over?
Oh yeah, Uncharted. I completely skipped over Uncharted. Completely. I've never played them. 1, 2, or 3. I've never played any of them, and everyone says you have to. Because they're great.
Really?
And I'm like,
really?
well...
They don't look that impressive to me.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
I hear it's like playing Indiana Jones, I hear.
Yeah, exactly.
They're making a movie about it, but, like, I never played any of those. But, like, Mass Effect 2, I played the first one, and I was like, oh, this game's okay. And then the second one came out, and I completely skipped that one for a year, and then I played it and was, like, blown away. That's why, Trent, we have to get you that second game, because you have to play it. It's like...
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
But I skipped that, Trev. What are some of the ones you skipped that are recent?
A really popular one was the God of War series. I right about the time my PS2 crapped out, I got God of War 1. My PS2 kind of died on me, and I never got around to finishing God of War or playing any of the other two. So I've missed out on God of War.
You didn't miss much. They have the HD collection for PS3, and I played through all of them in like 3 days, and they were just... I don't know what the buzz was about. They were all like... The third one looked beautiful, like presentation-wise, looked fantastic, but like it was just standard third-person beat brawl game.
Hack and slash.
Yeah, I mean, maybe people think because it's set... I think what it is, it set the standard for all hack and slashes. I think that's why they're like, oh, like, this game's amazing, but it just was like another hack and slash adventure to me. Like, the story was okay, and then like... It's just, it's a linear path to a boss, and you kill the boss, But what I think was is that like it set the staple. Like I don't know which came out first. Did Shadow of Colossus come out first, or did God of War come out first? That's the question.
Gosh, put me on the spot here.
I'm thinking
God of War.
because one of them set the stable for those big battles, and I don't know which one did, but one of them did. So like basically, you know how it works. One source steals from another source. Basically,
Well, yeah, that's always going to happen.
yeah. But
Well, I mean, God of War and Shadow of the Colossus, those are two very different games.
But the boss level though, like the boss encounters, how big they were, like both of them did that, and I forget which one came first because one of them was inspired by the other one to do that because of that reason.
God of War was out in 2005. Gosh, I don't know when Shadow came out.
Well, when you think about it, I'll ask Dave. Dave, what are some of the recent ones you've played that you missed?
Actually,
out?
I was thinking about this before you mentioned it, but Shadow of the Colossus I missed.
Oh my gosh, man, you got it.
I know. You know, I remember watching you play it and going, "Yeah, dude, that looks really rad." But I didn't have a PlayStation 2, and I had no interest.
Maybe
in
play it on
purchasing
one of those old simulators you were
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
Back in my day, they were called simulators.
They were called simulators. yeah. Shut up. But no, it was a game that got a lot of a lot of good marks. But I didn't see buying a PlayStation 2 just for that game. So
It was the only thing you did in that game was fight the Colossi or Colossus.
yeah.
That game it was so good at making you feel so tiny, and each one of those Colossus were just each one of them was like a dungeon in themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and each one of them was just completely different from the next. It was a fantastic game.
And what was cool was that they're a puzzle. I love puzzle games. I can't get enough of them.
Getting up to the weak point. It was that's what I mean by like a dungeon. You had to figure out not only how to get to the weak spot, but just how the hell do I get onto this thing without it crushing me. But I mean, besides the gameplay, my favorite thing about Shadow of the Colossus was the music.
The music was pretty epic.
It was so epic when you were just running around, and then the moment you got onto the Colossus, they kicked it up to 11, and you felt like such a badass, like the ultimate hero, climbing that Colossus. It was amazing. That music, I mean, I would buy that soundtrack and just listen to it.
Oh,
It
dude,
was so good.
puzzle games. I completely skipped over Portal, and what are those other puzzle games you guys always played? I completely skipped over Portal. I skipped over all the Portals, and I entirely skipped over Half-Life. I never played any of the Half-Lives. I played one.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like-
Half-Life was awesome.
And I was like, I'm in Black
Killing
Mesa.
me.
Oh, I'm being attacked. And then I just wandered around in circles because I had no idea where to go. I'm just like, why is everyone attacking me? I don't understand what's happening. And then you guys tried to explain it to me like several times. I'm like, I don't understand. Why do I have a crowbar?
You have to play that. Oh, you have to play that.
Why does Trevor look like Gordon Freeman? I'm so confused.
Only with my glasses on.
Yeah, I'm just like, what is going on? I didn't get it. I guess I didn't get it. I would like wonder. I'm like, these little brain things are attacking me, and there's no humans. And actually that's a good point. I skipped over all the Metroids too. I never played a Metroid 1, 2, or 3. I never played any of those.
Oh, me neither. Yeah, I never played a Metroid game.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't realize she was a she. I remember playing fighting games with her in it. Didn't realize she was a she the entire time.
Did we all miss out on the Metroid games? Did we all miss out on that genre?
I stopped playing them after I think the Super Nintendo.
Oh, so Trev, you played 1 and 2.
I played the originals, on the Nintendo, and I think I played a couple on the Super Nintendo. But I got into the more hardcore, shooters and things like that, like the Golden Eyes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, the 007 games. Good.
Yeah. Oh man.
Good old-fashioned family fun.
I spent hundreds of hours on that game, but
yeah, I remember you shooting me in the back a lot.
Yeah.
I remember you sniping me and using stupid remote-controlled rockets and
remote mines. Oh, those are my favorite remote mines.
Oh, Gears of War.
Yeah.
I haven't played any of the Gears of War since 1. I played 1. Haven't touched it since. Haven't touched any.
I still
of
have
them
to play
since.
3, but
Good game.
I just finished 2, and it's
shooters.
Yeah, very very cool.
Yeah, I feel like running around like an idiot with a shotgun. That's all I remember is like people running around with shotguns, like going around, and you're like, oh, this is fun, and they just hit you once and you die.
That's in the PvP, and I don't suggest the PvP. It's not fun unless you're going to be one of these people that spends your whole life dedicating yourself to it. Play the campaign. The campaign is interesting. The campaign has an interesting story, although I still haven't seen the conclusion.
I know. I always ask people like, "How does it end?" They're like, "Oh, you have to play the game." I'm like, I'm not gonna play the game. Just tell me how it ends. They're like, "Oh no, you have to play the
Just
game."
tell me how it ends.
Just tell me how it ends, because like I played the first one and it led nowhere, and then people say the second one.
Greg's that
led...
guy that reads the back page of every book.
That's right. No, see what happens, Greg, is at the very end it says, "Do not tell people the end. Make them play the games." That's what it says. There's a little disclaimer, so they're not going to tell you. You have to play the game.
This is like when you flip through the Lord of the Rings books and you're like, F this, and you go to third book, last page. Oh.
Oh, all right, cool. They all.
No, see, I said F this and I popped the movie in.
Yeah. Close enough.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I read it before the movies. Damn it.
This movie will give me everything I need.
on a complete subject change, don't you hate when you had to do that in high school? You watch the movie and then the test would be but like all the stuff they left out of the movie conveniently.
Exactly.
Did you think that was hilarious?
Exactly.
I always thought that was hilarious. I'm like, oh wow, I remember reading about this, saying that they put this in the movie. Now it's on the test. Wow, thanks teacher. What a bitch. That's basically what I was just like. I remember that so concisely because I'm like, I didn't want to read. Like, I would like wake up.
Right now,
like,
all of Greg's high school teachers that are following his podcast are like, which one is he talking about?
No, because remember I had AP English and like I had like, I don't know, like 2 months to read Pride and Prejudice, and I woke up like the day before and I was like, oh god, I read nothing. So I spent all night watching the miniseries that they had on like the History Channel of B&E or something.
Oh, it's so bad.
So after I gouged my eyes, I went there.
My wife loves that crap. I can't
I just don't understand. I'm like, I don't get it. They're just talking. They're just standing around talking about nothing. Like that's all the book is.
Exactly what it is.
They just talk about
sitting
nothing.
and talking about useless, unnecessary things.
I'm like waiting for something to happen. I'm like, where's the antagonist? They're like, oh no, see, she wants to marry this guy, but she has to marry this guy. I'm like, that's not a problem. That you just don't marry the other guy. Yeah. Next, please.
There's no antagonist. It's literally just like inane problems that the woman has to go through. Like it's But
I got way off topic, but I just had to say that. I'm sorry. I just remember it. When Trevor said, popping the movie in, let's watch the movie, and then the teacher would just deliberately pick stuff that wasn't in the movies. It's horrible.
Yeah, this is now a literature podcast. I hope you all enjoy listening.
Yeah.
No,
favorite literary book. Go.
Now remember, okay, in AP English we had a choice. Like the class had a choice to read either The Lord of the Rings or Pride and Prejudice, right? Mm-hmm. So for some reason we got outvoted and we had to read Pride and Prejudice. So like when the quiz came, and Bob was with me in this class, your brother, and when we had this class, we got the test, and like we didn't know anything because we weren't reading the book. We couldn't sit through it. So we would fill in random character names from The Lord of the Rings.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I would have answered it as if you were talking about Lord of the Rings.
Right. So it's like William Darcy wants to wed.
Damn it.
Yeah, wants to. Well, we would put like Bilbo Baggins, and like where does Darcy like live? We'd be like the Shire, and like
the Shire.
We'd get a big F on it, and then like in big red pen, the red pen that teachers use, they'd be like, "You shall not pass on the thing." And I'm just like, that's great. I failed, and she got the joke. That's amazing.
That's hilarious. You shall not pass. Oh man, can we? Who did you have? Can we say that on the podcast,
God,
or can you bleep
I
it out?
forget her name. It was advanced English. I had it with Bob. It was junior year high school.
Was it Miss Alteris?
No, she was blonde. She was blonde, kind of heavier, but not like she was blonde, but still attractive and kind of heavy, but not super heavy. I forget her name.
Oh, okay.
God, I can't remember. But
anywho, we are going way over time and way.
You guys are going way off topic.
We are now reminiscing and no longer doing our podcast.
Oh God. Okay. Sorry. What time are we at, Dave? What time are we at?
Oh, dude, like 45 minutes.
Okay. I'm just gonna do a quick rack up. So, all right, starting from here. Okay, so like you guys go ahead and leave your comments below and tell us what like genres or like franchises you missed that you'd want to go back to play, and gather up your XP, and we will see you guys next week on the next level. Good night, everyone.